No, we haven't done that yet. We're just busting your chops.
This is an organization meeting?
Just
Yes.
no, I'm rolling.
You'll be chosen though.
Yeah, you get to run.
I'm rolling.
Okay. The meeting has officially started at 6:53.
This is the Town of Albany zoning board of adjustment.
All right. So who is gonna do the opening honors here in terms of what our business is?
That is an open question.
Rick, do you have the agenda in front of you?
Yep.
Okay.
Why?
Why don't you run down the agenda?
All right.
Yeah, you can read it.
Can't read that?
Why not?
Oh, I forgot about, we have technology up there.
We just have to ask that gentleman right there.
So, oh my goodness.
All right, we called the meeting to order at 6:53 PM. Next item on the agenda is a roll call by secretary.
Alright, so, I would just say, since it's an organizational meeting, let's go around and introduce ourselves by name. So, I'm Sean Wadsworth, Secretary of the Zoning Board of Adjustment.
And I'm Peter Donconix, a member of the zone, ZBA.
And Joe Ferris, CBA member.
And Keith Crowe, ZBA member.
Rick Highland, ZBA member.
And absent is Sherry Coleman, excused. Not officially yet a ZBA member, but soon to be.
Okay, next one. Item 3 is appointment of alternates. We don't have any alternates. The first item under there is ZBA select and vote on a chairperson, vice chair, and clerk.
I nominate Sherry Coleman for chair.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Uh,
Sherry's the
Wow.
chair.
Alright.
I nominate Peter as vice chair.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye. And I'll nominate our secretary, Sean,
As
as
secretary.
our acting clerk.
Okay.
He's paid, he's not a member of the ZBA, but he's a paid
Okay, I'll
person to, contractor, I guess? Employee,
I'll
I don't
second
know.
that.
Employee, yeah.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are we going too fast?
Yeah, I don't think that one needs a vote.
Yes, it does.
The secretary? Thank you. Okay.
No, we have to approve it, that you are acting as our clerk.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so for me, the clerk, who was the nominant and who was the second?
I nominated you.
And
I
I was
didn't
the
want you to
second.
get away.
And then Peter, I guess since you're the vice chair and the chair isn't here, the meeting is yours.
Very good. First order of business, of course, was officially nominating and approving members of the board. Now, I was informed we were going to have a meeting regarding the,
No, this is just an
oh, this is an organizational
This
meeting.
is
Good,
just an
okay, excuse
organizational
me.
meeting.
I stand.
The next item on the agenda is review appointments in terms of services. Sean sent out a chart. I filled in my stuff and I filled in Joe's because when I signed up for the ZBA, you signed up like right after.
Yeah.
And the dates of the 2 meetings that we were appointed. The only thing is, Kelly, terms are supposed to be for 3 years. She only made us 2 years.
And I'm on my last year officially, I'm on
So she only made us for 2
the
years.
third year.
No, you were done and you were just re-up for 3
Oh,
more
okay,
years.
right, no,
You didn't even read what you signed.
So this is our last year then?
No, next year is.
Oh, next year's our last year.
So am I, which one am I filling? 1, 2, or 3?
You're You're on for 3 years. Appointments
Yeah.
by law are for 3 years.
Okay,
That's a statute.
huh, okay, very
And
good.
because they're appointed by the select board, you don't have to get into the staggering for elections and stuff.
Yeah, we used to have staggering years ago. And,
Well,
but anyway, but what we
long
have
time
now
ago.
is important. Okay, so 3 years, thank you.
So, Sean,
Yes.
did you get the email I sent you?
Yeah. I did.
Because I was gonna say, if Keith wants to put his information, you can give that to Sean. And that's done. And I think the only one now that has to be sworn in is Sherry?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I had, in your email, it was Peter appointed 6/23, term ends 2024, but it should be 3 years from,
Well, I've been told that the terms end at the end of March.
yeah.
That was the one thing I was unclear
Yeah, I mean,
of.
it's-
I
yeah.
knew they were gonna be,
Right.
they would be ending, and I didn't know.
Because usually the new select board,
Yeah.
after town meeting and elections, they're later in March. Selectmen's meetings is when
Okay.
they usually make most of the appointments.
You got your phone number in there and all that stuff, yeah.
So your and Peter's appointments from,
I don't,
2021.
I couldn't find, I didn't look back at emails. All I knew was, I knew he signed up almost right after I did.
okay.
So I went to when I was signed up, which was March 8th, 23. And I looked at the very next selectmen's meeting, which was the 29th, and you were approved at
Yeah,
that
'cause
point. That's why I know those dates are good. And then Kelly Collins, the town administrator, corrected me because I figured it was a 3-year term.
Yeah.
And she said she made out the forms wrong and it's only a 2-year term. She is gonna, at a future date here, straighten that out. But we don't have to worry about that.
Well, so I just want to verify. It says Keith on June 23rd, 2021 was your,
Yeah, and as an alternate.
and as an alternate.
Right.
You were as an alternate.
Correct.
So
You're still an alternate?
No.
No,
do
you're
we
gonna
need
be.
to then
Oh, no, we need them.
Do we then need to have the select board appoint as a member, or is that an in-house ZBA
Well-
thing?
When you signed your thing, what did it say on it?
I didn't read it.
You should read everything you signed. Here, wanna sign this?
No.
Yeah, I would say. it
Depends
should-
on who it comes from.
Okay.
I believe, the alternates is, if we have alternates at the time.
Ask
they
how
have
many,
open, the
how many
alternate
years his is for, too.
Automatically fills.
Right.
Peter's.
So you don't need to be appointed by the select board as a member of the ZBA. Because he's already an alternate.
Correct. Yeah, he can fill in any one meeting for one of us.
Well, he's gone to check to see what he just swore
Yeah.
at us.
Because I couldn't find anything right away, looking.
Well, no, you'd have to go back on the internet through all the meetings to find out.
Well, but but I knew.
Let's get everybody appointed current.
Correct.
And be done with it.
But, well, anyway, I expected some phone call on it soon, but I really,
Well, we got you a phone call. 2 of them, in fact.
boy, I don't, well, yeah, you got one today. I got the one today, which I said I didn't have my phone out with me. But anyway, so, mea culpa's on that, but big deal. Like say, in the Air Force, no excuse, sir. You just,
Well, We'll get you.
we're here, we'll take care of business. What, now?
You're through March 27th, effective today.
27, yeah. And what are you,
Same.
as a member?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that must have been when the other appointment ran out.
Yep. Well, the key is to get everybody appointed and sworn in current.
Okay. Well, yeah, we have to.
I mean,
Now-
people gotta understand we're a small town of 730 people, and
Yeah,
we don't
but-
have a lot of,
Joe, I think you're good with that, right?
No, but we do it right.
Yeah, I'm gonna put all my stuff in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Or, except, there's one too many 4s in there, 3 4s.
Okay, now everybody's.
you want me to continue down the agenda?
Since you have the.
I'll just read it off and then you can,
Just pause and let him fix this. You're today through the 2027, March 2027.
Correct, 27, 27. Oh, that's what you want me to fix.
I'm suggesting that.
Well, yes, but I should. Term ends the 27th. And what else here? Home phone, it's fine. Right. Joe, okay. All right. How come there's, I thought there was only 3 members on the ZBA plus an alternate, 4. How come
No,
Proto's
by,
on it?
by law, there should be 5, plus we could have,
Whoa.
we could have up to 5 alternates,
Yeah,
according to the statute.
boy, I'm gonna have to look at that again, just for, knowledge. Well, anyway, all right, so, Sid, you have an agenda already made up,
Yep.
and we'll let you go with that. And, though I am the vice here, and officially in charge of anything we do right or wrong.
I was gonna say, I would just read off as we get down it, and then you can take over after I read
That's
each
fine.
line. How's that?
That's, hey,
I'm just trying to help you out.
oh, no, I appreciate that, because, let's do it.
All
So
right.
what do you have?
Next item on the agenda is basically an introduction of voting members, secretary, advisors, consultant. We have a camera lady and
What is your name?
Laura
Laura.
Laura with a last name?
Slade
Slit.
from Valley Vision.
She's been around a long time. Not that but you're still young. You're still young.
It's okay.
But,
Good try.
yeah.
Can I borrow your foot?
There's not much left.
All right, next item is approval of the agenda. I'm not sure we have to get it into approval of the agenda. When I looked into the rules of procedure that I put out for everybody, and that comes from the State Department of Planning and Business or whatever, OPD or whatever. I'm not sure that really needs to be on the
It
agenda.
doesn't need a vote.
They list
Yeah,
they list, either that or make it does anybody have anything else to add to the agenda?
it's for consent, it's not a vote, so yeah.
All right.
Does anyone have anything to add or?
All right. Next is approval of minutes.
Well, the last
Did
meeting
everybody
is
get-
over a year ago, probably.
2021.
Yeah.
So in the email I sent it attached, and we can read through the minutes, or, I don't know how you.
I
You're
wasn't
the
there,
report
so
on
I'd
it.
have to abstain. And I would imagine Joe would have to abstain.
Well, you don't know, because you can't vote, we can't vote to approve, but I would abstain because.
Right.
Yeah, we have to, because I wasn't appointed the following year, or following year.
And just for the record, the only thing, I read through them, just for the knowledge.
Yeah.
The only thing I questioned was before the meeting, I asked Sean, did he actually put together a notice of decision and send it to the applicant, which was Profile?
Yeah.
Because it was a signed,
There is a notice of decision, I gotta verify that I sent it, but,
that also has to be filed with the town clerk.
okay, thank you.
That should have been done then.
I'm just asking that question.
Okay, no, but we'll find out, and then dot the
I'm looking
i's
for
and
dotting
cross
i's
the
and
t's.
crossing t's.
That's right. Okay.
Because it keeps you out of trouble down the road. Remember I told you I don't like you out of trouble?
No, it's an important, an important decision
Well-
that we make relative to finances.
All right,
And the
I will
community.
make a motion to approve the June 22nd, 2021 minutes.
And I'll second it.
Ask for discussion and call it to a vote.
Thank you.
Second was Keith?
Yes. Any discussion? No discussion. We'll have a vote, and all of that approve of the minutes as recorded during that time, say aye.
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 I
Anybody?
would abstain.
And I would also abstain.
Okay. So, I stand corrected, since none of us were present.
I was present.
Oh, you were, Joe, okay. So,
Yeah, we have a quorum for the meeting.
I mean,
so,
Keith,
We
right?
can approve.
Great, Joe.
Yep.
Can they be approved with a vote of 1 and 3 abstentions?
There shouldn't be 3 abstentions. You were here.
Not 21, I believe, for that vote. I may, if I was, I'd have to look up the rec, because we had a
Well, do
meeting
you have
for
a
so
record of the
long.
meeting?
All right, so we'll do that.
I think you were there, Peter.
Okay, then,
I think. My memory's a little bit better than
let's
yours.
see, well, 3 years would put it 24.
All right, I have copies.
You
of
were
them here.
present.
That's
You were
good.
present in June, and you were present in July. Yep, the next one.
All right,
coming
very
up.
good. So that was the
So
last
it would
time,
be
too.
2-0 to 2.
Correct.
All right, with that said, I will make a motion to approve the July 21st, 2021 minutes.
Second that.
Give those to Peter. Well, you can read them too.
That's okay.
All right, so,
I didn't know what we had for records. so
oh,
I have
this is,
copies.
okay, so this, oh my God, yes. Um, All right, so now you're showing me what exists of our record of that time, and then who's filing this here, who I,
Well, we're just approving them.
Well,
now.
we're just approving them now.
Right.
It's up to the secretary, who is our clerk,
right,
to take care of the
okay.
actual
Yeah,
filing.
no, the paperwork, now we're gonna hand this in.
You can give that to Sean if he hasn't made
Yeah.
copies yet. I mean, that's,
All right, so anyway, that's the record of the meeting, the last one, 21st.
So Rick made the motion. Was there a second?
Yes, I second.
And then, where'd you get this, Rick? You get it from,
From me.
oh,
I was the secretary at this time.
Yes, you already have it.
And in the email, I
All right.
sent it to everyone, so Rick printed from the email.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, so it's going back
It's coming around.
to you, all right. So, next order of business.
We're looking for
we need a vote.
Vote
Oh,
on this.
excuse me, I thought we had a vote and only 2 of us
Yeah, I
can
thought we
vote.
had a discussion too.
Yeah,
We voted on it twice.
right, so both of us have approved that you were
Well,
not present.
There were two meetings.
Two meetings, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me.
You
I just-
voted on this one, that's all set.
Oh,
Now it's time to vote on.
I did,
All right.
very
That
good.
makes
We're voting on the July 21st.
Okay, I,
Who's on second?
Third.
Third? He stole third?
all right, so, any discussion? Okay, well, we'll then vote on the acceptance of it. And 2 of us were present and 2 weren't. And so,
I will abstain.
And I'll abstain.
and
I'll approve.
and I approve also.
Thank you.
So, in this case, that's what we have. And we have, they abstain because they can't comment it one way or the other, the 2 approve it, passed,
Very good.
and accept it, I should say. All right. Now,
And the next item on the agenda is application review. We don't have any applications to review at this time. Item 8 is select board report. We don't need that on here. I mean, I'm on here as a citizen, not as a selectman.
right,
So, I mean, I'd be happy to share any information if anybody's got any questions, but I've only attended one meeting, and I don't know a whole lot yet. Item 9 is correspondence. Do we have any correspondence?
No.
Other than the lawyer.
That wasn't directed to the ZBA.
Don't even bring that up.
Oh, why not?
well, we're not having a meeting on it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
Item 10 is new business, is review and adopt the ZBA rules of procedure. I had Kelly print this out, Sean, and I don't know where you wanna keep it. It's 108 pages from it's from the State Department of Planning and Business.
Yeah, what?
Business and Economic Affairs. And they put out, they're basically the State Department for planning boards and zoning
Sure.
boards and whatnot. And this is their 2003 edition of the zoning.
It hasn't changed.
Well, they list all the changes
Oh,
from the previous year in here.
Correct,
And I figure it would be
but
handy.
usually there's a,
They've made all the changes in the edition. There's no 2024 yet because they're
Well-
still in the legislature.
yes, and that's
Okay,
my,
and it's just clipped together, but I think because of anything coming before us, we should have this available.
oh,
for
sure,
reference.
check it.
Do we not have it as a PDF?
I believe Sean sent it
Yeah.
out,
Okay.
because I sent it to Sean. I just didn't wanna print it out myself. 108 pages, I mean, we may or may not ever need it.
Yeah.
The thing is, all the forms that the ZBA needs to utilize are
Right.
in the back of that. So, and I have turned around,
So as you say, are we gonna vote to adopt that?
not I don't think we
No,
need
it's
to-
a, it's.
I wouldn't adopt it tonight, let's discuss it, because there's a couple of decisions we have to make. I took this out of their recommended, I didn't change anything in it except one item, and I'll point it out.
All right.
And I turned around and I put the town seal on it, and, you know, I put the town of Albany on it to make it, you know, official and whatnot. But, getting into this here, under officers, it says a chairperson shall be elected annually by majority vote of the board in the month of, I would suggest we put April. Because usually the appointments are after town meeting and election, usually at the first couple of select board meetings. So an organizational meeting should be held in the month of April, just to organize.
I'm gonna agree with that.
What do you think?
I don't have any problem with
Okay, the second one is the same thing for the vice chair.
Yeah.
You do it at the same meeting. And the third one would be for the clerk,
Well,
which would be,
just before all.
it's what we're doing right
Yeah,
now,
okay,
in April.
and it's April.
And that would be my recommendation. The rules are very simple. It says members must reside in the community, members being, you know, members of the ZBA. The statute states they must be US citizens also. And I would like to include that in that paragraph. That's a part of the statute. I mean, it's not being made up.
No,
And regular meetings, they had a line in there where you're gonna have your regular meetings, and I just put in, and I've got it labeled here under, in yellow, at the Albany Town Hall Meeting Room, which is this meeting room here. Meetings could be declared by the chair. I know when I was in the other town I lived in, okay, zoning and planning board, because there was a lot of business, because it was a bigger town, they had, on Saturdays, a lot of times, they went for site inspections and whatnot. But the chairman can authorize and do that anyways, but our regular meetings will be here in this room. And then it's regular stuff for quorum, disqualifications, conflicts of interest.
That's what's,
This was all sent out to everybody in the email that,
okay,
that
and
you
that's
sent out.
coming from the general rules on the ZBA?
That's coming from the state.
Correct, from
All I
that.
did was I
Yeah.
converted it to Word, so
Right.
I could put in the
Correct.
stuff that we needed to
No,
put in.
that's good, appreciate it, thank you.
They've got an order of business at your meetings, they've got A through I. I mean, we've got some extra ones, but, that's up to us to
Yes.
decide
Yeah,
as
sure.
well. Applications, decisions, the one thing I did put in, on page 4 is, appeals for administrative decision taken under RSA 676:5 shall be filed within 30 days of the decision. If you look at the original suggestion that they made, they suggested 30 days. So we can change it with a vote, you know, down the road. They go through all the public hearing stuff, decisions, records. Here's another one with a blank that we have to fill in. Records of the board shall be kept by the clerk and made available for public inspection at, where,
Albany Town Hall.
Albany Town Hall?
Well, you probably have to put in there also under the responsibility of the clerk to maintain, you know, to
Well,
have
I
those
mean-
filed.
Well, yeah, I mean.
In other words, they're
but
not
where
just in a
Where the
room.
record's gonna be, is they're gonna
Right.
be in this room.
Right, but somebody, if they wanted to see them, would have to go through the
Well,
clerk.
they'd have to go through the town administrator.
Correct.
Contact the town,
Correct.
the clerk,
It sounds like it,
and satisfy that.
we should include that in the sense of a place to start.
I just
What do you
put
think?
Albany Town Hall meeting room.
Well, but those records aren't
Here's the
necessarily.
wording.
Yeah, go ahead.
The records of the board shall be kept by the clerk
Alright.
and made available for public inspection at, and this is the part under question,
Oh.
Albany Town Hall,
Correct. And then,
in accordance with RSA.
all right, that's
I
good.
would just leave it
That's good.
Albany
It's-
Town Hall.
I agree. It's because it already has an RSA quoted that,
So redefine clerk, because
Yeah.
you've talked about this gentleman being a clerk.
well, he's for
The
clerk for the
statute
meeting.
says clerk.
Yeah.
Be
But-
clear.
Clerk of the ZBA.
I
ZBA clerk.
nominated him as a clerk.
I know you did.
Yeah.
But is he the one that's
Yeah, go
maintaining
to
these
the
He
records,
would
or
would
is
be
it
the
the
one that
town clerk?
maintains the records, yeah.
Well, we'll go with, I would suggest we go with
It
that.
says clerk
Right.
right in there.
But at the same
No question.
time,
Yeah.
Which clerk?
yeah,
Town clerk and ZBA clerk.
There you go.
well, they give an RSA.
Well, this is the zoning board of, these
Yeah.
are our rules of
She's
procedure.
also
Anyway.
talking about
Oh, sorry.
where you're gonna store it. You're gonna store it in the town. One could logically think, well,
That's
it's
true.
the town
Right.
clerk.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But I'm a stickler on rules and regulations and this sort of thing, and I'm gonna go into the RSA, all right? And if we have to change anything, we'll change it. But since this is their
This is-
wording,
This is
it's
their
pretty,
wording.
pretty wide open, and we'll go with that. On
I
a
read-
practical
I
measure.
read-
we'll
I
do
read
this.
through it a couple of times,
Yeah.
and it's pretty
Correct.
standard
Okay.
stuff. And if we run into a little glitch here and
Right.
there, there's a process for changing it. I
Correct.
think you have to read the change at one meeting and then vote it at the
Right.
next meeting. And it's just a vote
Yes.
of the ZBA.
No, the important
Um,
thing is those things that would
Right.
affect a decision of the ZBA, and that's not gonna affect a decision.
No, but it's very simple to make that change right
Oh,
now
right,
and
yeah.
lose the confusion. Because I would have said that person over there.
Yeah, well, I agree with what you're saying, but then, just out of ignorance right
And-
now on the ZB, on what it says for the RSA,
Yeah.
it probably says it identifies something, or someone in there knowing the RSA's. All right, next.
All right, yeah, I highlighted the next item in that records thing. Final written decisions will be placed on file and available for public inspection within 5 business days after the decision is made. The decision shall include specific written findings of fact that support the decision. But I put that in to remind me to ask him if the decision was issued.
I've forgotten what they say, though, in terms of notifying the person who is requesting the variance.
Well, common sense would tell you that you
Yeah,
give them
because
a
it's not
written
in-
decision.
Well, I agree.
And a
but
written
I'm
decision
surprised.
has, and the statute says that, and it says you have to file it with the town
I'm
clerk.
gonna be going back over it anyway, and if there's something I
Well,
think.
no, please do.
No, but only in the sense.
I'm
if
just
we have
trying to get us on
No,
track
this is
here
good.
in
No, I
case
appreciate your work
something
on this,
comes up.
since I'm behind the curve on it at this point.
I'm trying to save us embarrassment.
Oh, hey, not only embarrassment, but legal suits.
Amendments, again, I highlighted this, there's nothing to add or subtract. A vote is to be taken and shall be placed on file when we vote on these, they have to be on file with the town clerk. And just so everybody knows, any amendments to this shall be adopted and amended by a majority vote at a regular meeting of the board, provided that such new rules or amendments are proposed and discussed prior to the meeting at which the vote is taken. Which means, if we were gonna make changes today, which we are, we can't vote on them until the next time we meet. And I would probably say if we're meeting to deal with an application, that we do this first.
Oh, yes,
Make sure
yes,
that-
everything is,
Everything's
Done. It has to be done.
in order.
Did we say, is there anything in that says how quickly you have to act on an application?
yes.
That's all, that's not necessarily,
It said,
I don't know if it's in the rules of procedure or
you
not, but,
just, didn't you just say, give it a time frame? I think it's something
Yeah.
like a week, or something like that, 10 days, as I recall.
well, there's a process.
Yeah.
That's appeals. Applications, each application for a hearing before the board shall be made in forms provided by the board and shall be presented to the clerk of the Board of Adjustment for his or her signature. Each, the clerk, the board application received by him unless, it doesn't really say, but the statutes do.
Yes,
Well, I was just, the only
Yeah.
reason I asked that is,
Yeah.
as you appropriately brought up, you wanna have this taken care of before you get into the.
Well,
If it's a
I'd put it,
7
I'd put it on the agenda ahead of
No, right.
dealing with it, that's all I was saying.
Yeah.
That way they're in place. Again, I haven't looked up, I wrote up a bunch of stuff, made
Well,
copies.
go back over these things,
Um,
but I remember there was some sort of time, because you don't wanna keep the person hanging.
Oh, no, there's a timeline that we have to go by.
It's a financial decision.
Yep.
Appreciate the work
So
done.
that's basically what we're gonna have to vote on at the next meeting. And what I will do, I will fill in what we just agreed to, basically, and I'll forward it to the clerk. And he will email it out to everybody, read it over, make sure I got the intent here, and we'll put it on the
Yeah,
agenda
well, appreciate the work.
early on.
Rick, what was the page with the US citizen part?
I don't know
'Cause I think I
off the
got all
top of my head.
changes that you wanted except that one.
Oh, the one, of the RSA, it's,
Or you wanna, I'm not
it's,
for the community.
it's page 2, item 3. It's on page 2. It's under members and alternates. Basically, item 3 is members must reside in the community. Okay, and I read in the RSAs that they have to be a US citizen. If you want me to find it in the RSAs,
No,
again,
well,
I can do it.
No, just page 2. Oh, page 2, members must reside. So you want it to read, members must reside in the community and
Be a US citizen.
yeah, I didn't, so you're putting that?
That's always been, yeah,
I don't remember that. I mean, you're putting it in now.
Right.
In terms of laws, okay, because I don't remember that in the original reading of it.
okay, so I think I got all the changes that you proposed. So basically, you're just
well,
proposing.
when I plug them into the Word document, I'll send it to
Yeah.
you, you proofread it and make sure that it's what we just discussed, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Well, thank you for doing the organizational work. Because that, I was expecting more lead time to get going. And some of these go back over and stuff, because it's been a while.
I also just, I took the application for variances and also for special exceptions. I actually put the seal of the town on it and changed that. I'll
Yeah.
send you those files.
Thank you.
That's,
Well, it just makes it look more
well,
professional.
sure, no, because you're very familiar with the process, and the more the town looks like it has the I's and the T's taken care of, everything is fine. Saves a lot of effort, makes people more comfortable too. Because these are financial decisions that affect people's lives and business and families. Now, is that the basic groundwork and the things we have to do for this meeting to organize?
Yeah,
Because we,
we're
have we
almost
been,
there.
we haven't been approached by,
No,
there is
we don't
nothing
even-
on the table yet.
there's nothing on our agenda at this point, and there's no sense. I would wait and call the meeting after something like that happens.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I don't think we have to call a 10-minute meeting to
No,
approve
but we
rules
were
of procedure.
alerted that we might have to make a decision on auto dealerships and so forth and his other equipment. One, that there was something in the works, something talked about.
Oh, from Dale?
Is that his first name?
Dale Patel?
Yeah.
From
don't-
Profile
I know
Funeral?
Patel is the last
Right,
name, and I
right.
met some of them over the years, but not,
Right.
it's been a long time, I forgot.
Yeah, well,
Knowing who's in
Well-
charge now.
well, before the,
Are you aware of that? I'm trying to think, I think it was Kathy that mentioned it or something a couple months ago.
well, they have plans for doing other stuff there. I know that.
No.
And I don't think I'm at liberty to say anything.
Yeah, well, this is the other thing in terms of making decisions and talking about
Right.
this. It's supposed to be like a Supreme Court.
Well, yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be predetermining anything. Keep an open mind, make your decision based on what's
Everything.
presented
Correct
and,
rules, right.
and what happens at the public hearing from abutters and
All right.
other people in town that testify.
Right. The important thing is that there's been no notification that they want to have a hearing now. Is that correct?
The what?
There's nothing on the, we
Nothing
have
on the
no
agenda from
applications
anyone.
or no.
Okay, fine.
Yep.
So this, and now,
This is purely an organization.
because you have done all the legwork on this, Rick, and say I really appreciate it.
Well, let me just explain. Normally, I wouldn't have the time, okay? But my power was out, and there was a
Yeah.
foot of snow,
Yes,
and the internet was out,
yes.
the phone was out,
Oh.
even my cell phone was out
Where do you live?
on Route 16.
Farther south of me. Well, we're fortunate, we're the only place in the whole valley.
Well,
that has our power.
and I was
year-round.
looking for something to do before I went out and plowed.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I figured, I looked through stuff that we might need, and
No, but you have the work ethic, the experience in the towns, and you put it to work in a business, and you're a valuable
I'm
asset
gonna look
to the
at that.
town. And to such a thing as this committee, which is important.
That's right.
All right.
Well, they've been at the wood search.
so.
If there's,
16 chapter 3 pages.
is there anything else you're?
The only other thing that I was gonna bring up,
Yeah.
is after attending town meeting, looking at the budget, when I was a selectman last, we always kept the zoning board budget up. And Joe was on the board then too, because we have no idea
Right,
what's gonna come before the ZBA.
correct.
And they, for some reason, cut it in half from last year.
Yes.
And this is, you know, under budgeting law, okay, we have to make a request to the select board to find that money somewhere in the budget and put it into the necessary lines here. So my recommendation would be for the chair or the vice chair, or the clerk, someone, is to look at the budget. We have a meeting tonight, find out what the stipends are. There's a line in there for stipends. We're probably gonna have one more, maybe two more meetings, maybe more, but I would say probably 2 meetings, because you're gonna have an application to deal with, and then you're gonna have a public hearing. And that's gonna have to be noticed, not just in a paper and on the board. That's gonna have certified mail or something sent out to all the abutters.
Oh, sure.
Which is paid for by the applicant.
It's paid for by them, but I'm just saying, there's gonna be a meeting, and then there's gonna be another meeting probably for a public hearing. So I can foresee probably 2 meetings to deal with this. There might even be a third one if we have to get together, and what we heard at the public hearing and what was brought before us, whether we need to discuss this as a board before we start making any decisions. And there's 5 criteria that the applicants have to meet, in pretty good detail, to convince us as a board, to modify zoning ordinances or whatever they're asking for, okay?
Now, was the applicant provided with those 5 details?
Yep, that's on the application.
Because, boy, I hate that.
Oh, well, no,
No, we try, it's the idea, that whoever is applying should know everything about the rules and regulations and what's expected.
there's the application.
Otherwise, we meet.
That's, you can have that, I mean, I just made it up.
They,
But it's in the information in that manual that comes from, is it OPD, I think they refer to them? Is that what, OPD?
Yep, Office Planning and Development.
That's it, yep. And everybody got a PDF copy of that, so anything you need to double check on, look in there. And then the other one is the RSA's, you can get that right from the state. I turned around and, you know, if this gets to be, you know, very involved and whatnot, we can have Kelly produce these, but, I took all the RSA's that pertain to subdivision of land appeals, and just our duties, just so I have a quick reference to, the RSA's.
New Hampshire RSA's are very practical minded.
I wouldn't go that far, but.
Well, maybe.
This is probably more practical than
Yeah.
anything else, and that book there also keeps up to date
Yeah.
anything that happens in the legislature.
Yeah.
That's why I had Kelly make a
Right.
copy that we could have physically, because it's hard for some of us old people to read that stuff up there.
That,
No, it's just because it's so far away.
Thank you, Sean.
all right,
But
anything far?
But that's a thing on the budget is to go through. Now, at town meeting, keep in mind that we made a, addition to the budget on the floor of $3,000.
Or the planning
No, the motion was for both the planning board and the zoning
board
board.
was.
Yes.
Well, that should be more than enough.
Check the wording, but
Yeah,
Would that, it wouldn't show up in here, because it was a
No.
motion on the floor.
right.
no, you'd have to go to the town clerk and get the, have her check the minutes. It doesn't matter whether it's for the, it's up to the selectmen where they're gonna put it anyways.
Well, the only problem would be if, I can't even imagine that we would have to require more than that, but if
No.
we require more money, then we have to get
$200 to
it.
$400 an hour, attorneys add up quick.
Whoa, horsey. Well, we only
We have to
have,
get advice from a town attorney.
but
or
at the
something.
meet, when we've had meetings in the past, we never had an attorney.
Well,
We
you've had-
send it to
you-
the town attorney if we need something, a ruling on something.
Yeah, but you need to have it in your budget.
Oh, no, I agree, but isn't it in, the attorney's fees are in a general allowance that's in the budget for anything that happens within the town. There wasn't,
There's line items.
right. And that ZBA thing, so that's basically.
Planning, there's a legal line in there for $1, which is crazy. The zoning board, they took out legal out of the zoning board. There isn't even a line in there for it. Yeah, no,
Well, that's something that has to be addressed then, too. That shouldn't be the case. at
But
all.
what I'm saying is $551 is not gonna go very far.
Oh, not at the rates for an attorney, but.
I mean, if all we have is this meeting and one
Yeah.
more meeting to approve our rules and
Right.
we're ready to go,
Yeah.
yeah, we probably get away with it.
My knowledge of what goes on in terms of paying the town attorney and so forth is antiquated, you know, it's way back, things have
Well,
changed.
it's all part of the budgeting.
But it is, but way back then, very quickly, is the fact that that attorney had agreed to a certain price.
Did you wanna keep
In other
that?
words-
No.
In other words, for doing it,
Thank you.
it's like an extra thing for him, it's not his main source of income. And we got a good deal, and it involved sort of a flat fee for certain, just straight decisions. Did involve all kinds of secretaries doing work and everything else, but on a
It's not the
zoning
way anymore.
question- Yep, and that's right, so you brought me and us up to date
So
on that.
that's the only thing that
Yeah.
I would bring up
Yeah,
under
because we have to have a
other
special.
business type
Right.
of thing is, we need to be aware of
All
that
right, well,
budget.
we have to do
I
something.
mean, I know in the past that some of these committees just spend and don't do anything, but I like to go by budget law.
Oh,
That's what
everything
we're-
has to
that's
be
what
done
we're
by
bound
law,
by, right.
because we don't want court costs out of this if somebody comes back at us. And that's another thing, but also, this is our town, we represent it, we live here.
Well, it's
And we
taxpayers'
want
money,
it
too.
done right, we're not nasty, but there's a reason for the rules and regulations.
All right.
And if they're to be bent,
Moving on, Peter.
We have-
Any other old business, Sean?
Not that I have.
Next is public comment. You're not part of the public.
no, none of us.
You
are
can't
part of the
keep going.
public.
We don't have public.
All right, but that brings up in terms of when we do have meetings, and also we have to advertise that to the public if there's comment.
If there's what?
We have to advertise the fact that we're meeting to consider something that's.
We
up
have to post all meetings.
That's right.
Yeah, no.
But especially if
And-
it's
and
to
the clerk
consider
takes care of
something
that.
up before us and so forth. But this was not published in the paper, was it?
It doesn't have to be. This
Yeah,
is just a
right. This is
regular meeting.
A regular formation thing.
Right.
But
If we have an applicant come in.
Correct.
Okay, we have to post it in the newspaper, on the website, on the bulletin board, and the applicant will send out to all the abutters the fact that we're gonna have a quote-unquote public hearing.
Sure.
That is the public hearing that Rick mentioned,
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
public hearing versus a
Oh, on it.
ZBA meeting. All ZBA meetings are open to the public. As far as I know, all public hearings are.
Oh,
open to the
anything.
public.
Everything's open.
Everything's
The
open.
only thing that isn't open to the public hearing is if we go into a non-public session, and there's really no reason to go into a non-public session on a ZBA, for the most part, with the exception of maybe discussing something confidential with an attorney. We have no employees.
Yeah, that would be true of any meeting.
Anything that we have grievances with any members have to be done in public session. That's 91A. I mean, so, the only thing I can think of, like I said, is if we had to meet in confidence with our attorney, yeah, we'd go into a non-public session.
So, is that all you have on the list?
Nope, one more.
Okay, let's do her. So
Number
we can let the
13
young lady go home.
Number 13 is adjournment.
Yeah.
I make a motion.
I'll second that.
You got that?
Not debatable.
Yeah, right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.